Gotta thank Big Jake already. Jake is like, glad you're staying, Tim. Only realistic person on YouTube. What about Twitter? What about Twitch? What about everything else in between? Here in the Hollywood mansion again. I should say we're here in the Miami mansion. Sitting here thinking about the New York Football Giants. This is Tim's New York Giants Stretch Out, powered by Online Big Blue, brought to you by, of course, the mighty FanDuel. It's FanDuel.com, the number one sports book in America. We had the NBA trade deadline, which has been going on. I got to move the screen a little bit here, guys. But we're not going to talk about the NBA trade. I want to talk about the Knicks. I want to talk about some of their moves. I want to talk about the fan base. I want to talk about some of the Ned Duels that are out there already who are already complaining. They're already pontificating. What is this guy John Harbaugh doing? We decided to get him to fix problems, and he's doing things like fixing problems. I just love people. And I really do think that certain segments of the Giants fans just can't be happy. This is a good thing, guys. There's nothing bad that John Harbaugh has done. There's nothing horrible that he's done. There's nothing, when we hired the woman away from the NFL, I actually thought that was a good move. You have certain segment of Giant fans who's like, well, she doesn't know anything about contracts. It's like, do you know what she does? Or do you know what she did for the NFL? I mean, and that's why I laugh with people. I always ask that question. Do you know what she did for the NFL? It just makes you ponder sometimes if certain segment of Giant fans are just looking for something to hold on to and say, look, the sky is falling. It's all good, guys. We're good. We're heading in the right direction. The Nagy thing is perfect. Hiring Dawn over from she was an executive course over with the NFL, and she's now going to be senior vice president of football operations in charge and strategy. In charge of handling contracts and the salary cap. This is a woman that has chops and expertise in contract negotiation, salary cap management, labor, and CBA issues. So, I mean, and she's also just a lawyer and has like a degree in accounting. Kevin Abrams' fucking calculator didn't have a 7. Everything it was like, hey, we need to get this contract out. How much money should it be? Well, let me see here. Normally it should be 23 million, but according to my calculator, it's 58. So let's give Kenny G 58 million. You're bringing in a woman who may not have football experience in regards to the inner workings of a team. But like I said, she is someone that has experience in all these things. And she's worked for the Dolphins, the Jets, and the Cleveland Browns. It's a perfect thing. She's been with the league since 2017, and she was the chief administrator of football operations for the entire NFL. And also I think she's on the USA Football Direct. I think she's on the board of directors over at the USA Football, which helps develop youth and amateur football and high school football and all that shit. She's a good hire. She is a good, solid hire. In reference to the fact that you had Kevin Abrams, 27 years, leading the salary cap in this organization, and every year the Giants are in cap shit. Maybe she's the enema. Maybe she is the cap enema that we need. Maybe she's going to come in here, look at all this stuff, and say, oh, dear Lord, what the fuck were you thinking? And that's what I'm hoping for. And you just need, some of these people just need to relax. It's okay. And like I said, I think that some people have been so ingrained for so many years that it's like you don't know how to be happy. I really do think there's a certain segment of the Giant fans that really don't understand happiness and understand, you know what, this is going the right way. Yeah, February 12th was going to be my last day, but now I'm sitting here.
You don't want the truth because deep down in places you don't talk about at parties, you want me on that wall. You need me on that wall.
I'm still needed on the fucking wall. And that's the thing. I'm still literally needed here. I can't go anywhere. I can't leave people. And I agree. BT, she's going to save the Giants a lot of money going forward. Yeah, I think that's what's going to happen. I do think she's going to save the Giants a lot of cash. I think she's going to, it's good to have someone come in with a fresh look and perspective and take a look and say, okay, this is what we have going wrong. This is what we have that didn't work. And sometimes you have to dump out everything just to get people, just to get a fresh look. And I think that's what she's going to do. I think that's what Dawn's going to do. I think she's going to come in here, have those fresh set of eyes, and she's going to sit there and take the Giants and say,
oh, you know what? I just tested
I'm sorry, wrong. That was supposed to be Let's Roll with Billy Bob. So I love doing. So, what is Joe Schoen's job? Well, we've already shown you what Joe Schoen's job is. Joe Schoen has multitudes of careers right now here in with the New York Giants. He is the chief coffee getter for John Harbaugh. Joe Schoen is needed. When Joe Schoen's not busy with the coffee, he's getting Mr. Harbaugh to come and get his car at valet parking. And later in the season, he's going to be selling hot dogs on the Joe Schoen Hot Dog and Giant Talk podcast. Don't you worry about Joe Schoen. Joe Schoen's got a lot of stuff going on. Joe Schoen's got a lot of shit going on. Joe Schoen is going to be one of the busiest guys around. Mike Lee, I had that clip every time they pull me out, they bring me back. You pull me back in every time I think I'm out. But that's okay. I don't mind because I finally see the forest through the trees. I finally see the direction that this organization is taking. And I see it because of the fact that it's there finally. I just like playing sound effects now because I saw something about the Knicks comments. But it's there, guys. It's there. We are headed in the right. We've talked about it before. One of my friends used to be the commander of the Fifth Fleet. And I asked him, how long does it take to turn a fucking aircraft carrier? And I've told the story before. And he's like, well, why the fuck would you ask that question? That's kind of like a weird question. I said, because you see these movies and it's like, oh, okay. They're just turning the boat. Ship. Not a boat, it's a ship. And he's like, it take hours if you're gonna turn around the opposite direction. So making this work is going to take years, was going to be a year in progress. And I laughed though, because we sat there for so long with Joe Schoen and he came in with all this hype and I kept telling people, I don't see it. I was like, I don't fucking see it, but okay. Came in with all this hype and he said the right things. He said, you know what? We did the video always with the bullshit meter that we did with Joe Judge, and with Joe Judge, the bullshit meter broke off. And I love it though, because when Joe Schoen came in, the bullshit meter was at 100. But he said the right things. He said, you know what? We're going to build through the draft. We're going to cultivate our own talent and we're going to augment through free agency. Yeah, he did that for like a week. Then we went 7-2, not to mention 2-5. Then we went 2-5-1. And we did that one thing that nobody thought.
What's that? Playoffs? Don't talk about it. Playoffs? You kidding me? Playoffs?
We made the playoffs. Instead of thinking we were a one-hit season wonder, we decided, hey, we're going to go all in. We're going to go all in with stupidity. And that's what led us to where we are now. I love it. I love this one right here. Do you want oat milk in your coffee, Mrs. Dawn? I don't. Her name is Dawn to me because, we're like that. I don't know her, but like I said, I always call everyone by their first name. Might aggravate people. I don't give a fuck. But literally, it was And then we talked about Matt Nagy. Then we talked about this. I don't want to talk about it over and again. We talked about this. So many people are like, oh my God, it's such a terrible hire. And I love it because Marcus Wiley, I guess he's over in ESPN NFL Network, former defensive end, was like, well, he didn't do shit with Mitchell Trubisky. And he reads off the QBR. And I love Zach Attack because Zach Attack was right. Zach Attack goes, no one looks at the fucking QBR ratings. Reads off the QBR ratings. And he goes, and I keep thinking to myself, he's reading them off. He went to the playoffs twice with Mitchell Trubisky. He made Mitchell Trubisky look competent. When Trubisky left the Bears, his career fell apart. And then Marcus Wiley was faulting Matt Nagy because Justin Fields didn't pan out. So maybe the Justin Fields we saw as a Jet just doesn't have the talent we all thought. And maybe Mitchell Trubisky was not a good quarterback. And he somehow went to the playoffs and won Coach of the Year, because we always forget like when we wanted Kevin Stefanski, even though he had 2 winning seasons of 5, but he had 2 Coach of the Year awards. This guy went to the playoffs twice with Mitchell Trubisky as his quarterback. Now, yeah, he lost both time in the wild cards, but he went twice. And I try to explain to people, and I'm going to explain it to everyone again. This is a guy in Matt Nagy who also has 2 Super Bowl rings. He has 2 Super Bowl rings and was the offensive coordinator. I love it because people are like, he doesn't call plays. Okay. He called plays every year he was in with the Bears, except for part of 2020 where he stopped, but then he came back to call the plays. And he was the offensive coordinator for 2 Super Bowl teams for Kansas City. And don't give me this shit. Well, Andy Reid calls the plays. Andy Reid stopped calling the plays years ago after Eric Bieniemy took over. And I'll tell you the story in Kansas City. We've told it before. Eric Bieniemy, in the early part of his career, his job was to install the offensive game plan. And then Andy Reid would call the plays during the games. And it was towards the end of Eric Bieniemy's stay in Kansas City that he just totally took over as the offense coordinator. So that's the same thing that happened. And I love it because then and I love it because some people are like, well, Matt Nagy got fired. Tom Coughlin got fired. Bill Belichick got fired. Dick Butkus got fired. Not Dick Butkus. Mike Ditka got fired. People get fired in the NFL. George Seifert got fired. Mike Shanahan got fired. That was the logic of some Giant fans. He got fired. He was fired. Okay. Alrighty. What does that mean? No one in the history of the NFL besides Matt Nagy has ever been fired for a job. It's amazing. But you have a guy that likes to run a West Coast style offense. You have a guy that likes mobile quarterbacks who can scramble in the pocket and look downfield. And you think that's the guy you have. Pat Shermer got fired. Thank you, Mr. Perry. I was about to go with that. Freaking John Harbaugh got fired. The coach that everyone loved 2 weeks ago was fired in Baltimore. The only reason we got him is because he was fired. Pat Shermer got fired. Joe Judge. Shermer got fired. Juju got fired. Joe Judge got fired. We fire everyone. Right? Dable got fired. They all got fired. You know who's not going to get fired? I'll tell you right now. Fucking John Harbaugh. He's not going to get fired. Vrabel got fired. Thank you. And I love it because people are like, well, he got fired. Okay, well, why is that a bad thing? You have a guy with an NFL pedigree who likes the West Coast offense and mobile quarterbacks. And Jackson Dart is not what we would know for the strongest of arms. So you have a guy that your quarterback eerily fits the system that he likes to run. And people in segment of the Giant fans are like, I don't like it. They're like fucking petulant children. And then you ask them, what don't you like about it? What don't you like about it? No, they can't tell you. Well, he doesn't call his own plays. Well, that's not true. He got fired. Well, everyone gets fired. He has 2 Super Bowl rings and went to the playoffs twice as a head coach with Mitchell Trubisky. And to Marcus Wiley, he's like, well, he didn't make look what he did with Justin Fields. He only had Justin Fields for 1 year and he got fired. I just think that when you finally start, it's been so long. It's been 15 years, 14 years. When you truly start seeing success, when success is finally truly in front of you, I think certain Giant fans are panicking. Because their initial reaction is, well, the shoe's going to drop. And the problem is this: you have content creators telling you for the last 4, 5, 6, 14 years, everything is awesome. You have people telling you that. And then when the world falls apart, it's like, well, everything wasn't really that awesome. We just kind of lied because we were doing it for the likes, the clicks, the bleeps, and the boops, and the super chats. So I'm here to tell you guys, and I'm never going to lie to you. I'm never going to steer you wrong. I'm not going to lie to you here. The Giants are in the right direction. Virtual backgrounds are not available in 4K. It looks like I have a virtual background now. The Giants are headed in the right direction. The Giants are going the right way. Even James is shocked. I love doing this because I was wearing a green shirt for that. It says, I don't know what's going on, but the Giants are going to be good. This is crazy. I'm James. I miss James. I miss James. James is working. So I'm going to sit there and I'm going to trust my general manager.
Warning, sarcasm. Warning, sarcasm. Warning, sarcasm.
We're not going to trust the general manager because the general manager our general manager does not have the last say in anything. That is the greatest thing in the world. Our general manager literally does not have the last say in anything. It goes to the coach and the owner. That's a good point, though. What the fuck does Joe Schoen do? Joe Schoen is yes, this is thank you for calling New York Giants offices. This is Joe. How can I direct your call? That's gonna be Joe Schoen right now. It's going the right way, guys. We're headed in the right direction. We are moving the goal. We're no longer moving the goalpost away from us. There are going to be plenty of decisions that people aren't going to like. Hell, there's going to be decisions that Joe's going to make, John Harbaugh is going to make that I'm not going to like. But I'm still going to like if he signs Wan'Dale Robinson, I will be slightly perturbed. But I'm not going to sit there and throw the baby with the bathwater. Never really understood that expression. Why don't you just open the tub and let the water run out? Why am I going to throw the bathwater out the window? And why would the baby still be in the tub? Because it's probably cold. Some of these things you got to think about. I'm just hyped about the Knicks right now. But listen, there's going to be certain things. If we take a look at this salary cap situation, and Dawn, Dawn, I love you already, Dawn, because you are going into a world of shit. You take a look at the salary cap. And I don't like doing it because there is a glimmer of hope because of the fact that the salary cap is going up like 20-something million. There is a glitter of hope. And right now, we probably have between like 6 to 7 million in salary cap space. And you figure hopefully we'll have like another 28, we'll say. And then we have so many guys on the roster that we can move around. But even with looking forward, what worries me is going down the road a little bit because of the fact that we have all these maturing contracts that we didn't stagger, which worries me. We've talked about this ad nauseum. I have no idea why you didn't stagger all the contracts that you did. Why you kind of put them in consecutive order. I don't know why Abrams did that. I don't know why Joe Schoen did that. I have no idea. But in 2027, right now we still, with the rule of 51, we only have 198 million, which would be a team cap space of 128 million. So 27, depending on some of what we do this year. And this is where I hope that Dawn shows constraint, because we've seen this with Giants before, and we've seen this multitudes of times that people will tell me like we'll be on like 23 and they'll be like, well, at 24 or 25 we're gonna have like 150 million. And then and then we come up with like 18. And I try to explain to people, when you do these certain contracts, you're moving money, you're pushing money out, you're doing things that is going to push money into the contract value. So what you see 2 years from now is probably not going to be what you have. And looking at how we could potentially fix this, you got to look, and we're going to go through this a little bit. I wasn't going to go through this a little bit. I'm going to go through the salary cap a little bit. First things right off the bat. And I'm going to get a calculator again. Hold on. Unlike Kevin Abrams, my fucking calculator has a 7. Unlike Kevin Abrams, my calculator has a job. Hi-oh. Just right off the bat, you're going to cut Graham Gano. So that's 4.5. Okay. You're going to cut James Hudson and shoot him out of the fucking clown cannon. That's 5. We'll say 5.3. And then you're going to cut Devin Singletary, which is going to be 5, probably about 5.25. So then we're going to do that. So we've already just saved $15 million. Now the problem is this: doing that, saving that $15 million, we've already incurred $5 million in dead cap space. So which then, if you take a calculator where we're at now, and you add, that's going to put us around 24. We'll say 24 million in cap space. And then here's where you need to all of a sudden start. If you're Dawn, I'm gonna call Dawn up, see if she wants to come on the show, because I want to talk math. I want to talk math with Dawn, because I think her and I would get along really well. I think that I think she should hire me as the assistant capologist. But here's where you're going to need to start after you got up to your 24 million in cap space. And don't forget we're going to probably get another 30. So you're probably about $50 million in cap space. But also don't forget that every other team in the league is going to get 30 additional million. So those 3 teams that have over 100 plus are going to be even more over 100 plus. So just remember that, which means it's going to be more of a buyer's market. And like I said, me and Dawn.
That's not the way you're supposed to do it, Dad. They want us to do it this
I don't
way.
know that way. Why would they change math? Math is math.
Okay,
Math
Dad.
is math.
So me and Dawn, we're sitting there, we're going to look at the calculator. So here's where Dawn needs to show constraint. Because the first thing that everyone wants to do is cut Bobby Okereke. Everyone's like, we got to get rid of him. Okay, well, you're going to save $9 million, but you're going to incur almost 5.5 in dead cap money. And you don't have a linebacker to replace him. So you're going to tell me you're going to go out there and find a linebacker that's going to be better than Bobby Okereke, counting his dead cap number, for basically $3.5 million. I don't see it. Because people are going to be like, well, no, it would be $9 million. No. Because that 5.5 is taken away from your cap number. So no, it's not. So technically you would have to think about it this way: for about $3.5 million, you have to find a linebacker better than Bobby Okereke. Now, John Runyon is a serviceable, and I do use the word John Runyon is a serviceable offensive lineman, serviceable at best. He's John Runyon, serviceable offensive lineman. He's got a $9 million cap savings if you dump him. And it's a $2 million dead cap number. So can I find someone better than John Runyon for technically $6 million if we're going salary to salary? Yeah, I think I would get rid of Runyon. But I can't. And this is where you're going to have to stop yourself from moving. Now, here's the big issue that Dawn's really going to have to deal with, because then if you keep Bobby Okereke, you only cleared up about $30 million in cap space. So technically, you're still at $60 million with the new number. But here's where you need to show constraint, and that's going to be restructuring. People are going to want to restructure Paulson Adebo, Dexter Lawrence, Andrew Thomas, Hollins, Darius Slayton, Golston, Gilliam, Brian Burns. You're going to want to do that. And the problem is this: when you do that, you are going to push money out into those other years, which is way the Giants always get themselves in trouble. Anytime the Giants get themselves in trouble during a season, they either trade somebody and eat the dead cap number or just push the money out to another year. Now, if they restructure every single deal, if you take Chauncey Golston, Slayton, Thomas, Adebo, Dexter Lawrence, Burns, and everyone else, and you restructure all those deals, you're going to save like $130 million. But the question is, if you do that, to what extent are you damaging the team down the road? This is where Kevin Abrams and family always gets themselves in trouble. I want to cut the Scottish Hammer too. I want the Irish drinker to be the punter, so I'm coming out of retirement to punt. But this is where Kevin Abrams and Joe Schoen and Dave Gettleman and Jerry Reese, to some extent, always got in trouble. They would push this money. They would kick the can down the road, not thinking that, you know what, we still need to sign players. We're going to still need to renegotiate contracts, because in a couple of years, if you think that Jackson Dart is going to be your guy, you're going to have to think about extending Jackson Dart in about 2 years. That's a problem. The only contract that I would probably restructure and move money around would be Brian Burns, because Brian Burns is the only one that really has true value and probably will still be on this team. Now, people will say, well, Tim, what about Andrew Thomas? Andrew Thomas is good for maybe 11 games a year. You cannot count on Andrew Thomas yet. I am not pushing money out on the Andrew Thomas deal, even though he's only 26 years old, until I know he's going to have some type of health. Because if I start pushing that dead money out and then I cut him or I trade him, I'm stuck with that dead money. And this is where the Giants need to show restraint. And can Dawn show restraint? I think she can. I have confidence in her. Yes, there's a slight connection with Joe Schoen because they work together in Miami, but that's all right. I'm tired of being stuck with these people that aren't very good at their roles in reference to players. But the problem is, a lot of times, even when they're gone, we're still stuck with them because we kicked the can down the road because we were trying to, we were borrowing from Peter to pay Paul. I gladly pay a Tuesday for a hamburger today. That's what we were doing. And I think that's where, and I hope that's where we look at this, that Dawn is really going to come, that Dawn is going to come up like 7-Up. Slider says, I love Andrew Thomas, but I need 16 games from him at least. I mean, just think about that. Andrew Thomas is probably one of the best left tackles in the league. Andrew Thomas has also never made a Pro Bowl. There is a reason that Andrew Thomas has never made a Pro Bowl. Do you want to ask me that reason? Because he's played in 16 games twice. 16, 13, 16, 10, 6, and 13. That's not good. In the last 3 years, Andrew Thomas had a potential to play in 51 games in 3 years. He played in 29 out of 51. I'm going to say that again. Andrew Thomas in 3 years out of 51 total games played 29 out of 31. And if you take a look at Andrew Thomas's contract with that injury issue, and that's where, let me pull up Andrew Thomas's contract. Oh my God, I hate being professional. We're going to be more professional because we got a lot of stuff going to be going on soon. So after the Super Bowl, we're going to be more professional. So you have a potential out. This is why I don't want to kick the can down the road. You have a potential out in 2027 where you're only going to have a dead cap number of about $13 million. So you're going to save about $14 million from Andrew Thomas. Now, the problem is if you take some of that 2026 salary and push it, you're going to push it into 27 and 28. This is what happened with Daniel Jones, and this is why that Daniel Jones contract to this day sent me into a fucking tizzy. You could potentially kick money down the road so that $13 million, manageable $13 million dead cap hit. Now, $13 million is a big number. But when you take a look at the $26 million dead cap number, $13 million is manageable. But that number will probably be about 20 if you start playing kick the can down the road with Andrew Thomas. And let's say Andrew Thomas at 28 years old starts declining or has another season where he doesn't play. Because like I said, we'll say it again. He played in 51 out of 51 total games. He's played in 29. And I don't even know did he start all 29? That's a question I should be asking, but I didn't. Yeah, he started all 29. All right. I was like, I probably should have looked that up, Tim, before you did anything. Joe Ferry says Thomas 3 seasons ending injuries in a row. Yeah. And I'm not using the Pro Bowl kind of a bad. I'm not using that, but I'm just saying the Pro Bowl used to be, I don't know how it's Pro Bowl now, but used to be selected by the players. I think it's fan up right now. But this is a guy that, like I said, if you kick the Andrew Thomas can down the road, you're going to do the same thing you did with that Daniel Jones contract. So that's why Brian Burns would be the only contract that I would ever consider restructuring. I saw your mom kick the can down the road and asked her what she was doing. She said, moving. That was a good one. I don't think you want to get into, I don't think you want to get into your mama jokes. I don't think you want to get into those because you know what? I'm just going to tell you, that's probably what, probably don't want to go. But that was actually a good one. That was funny though. That was good. That was funny. So I'm just saying you can't, you have to look at this from a generalized perspective. And listen, I don't fault people that for years listen to people like Bad Dog and Chris and Copizzle and everything else, and they told you for years everything was fine. This is the greatest 5-win team I've ever seen. We're gonna win every year. They're gonna win 11 fucking games. And I understand how you could sit to Daniel Jones, greatest quarterback ever. Daniel Jones sucks. Daniel Jones is great again. I can understand the ping pong effect. I get it. So maybe some of these Giant fans are just kind of shell shocked that now we literally have a direction. The ship is no longer rudderless. We have a direction. We're going to sally forward and move into the right direction. That's what we're going to do. That's where we're going to be. We have to do it today because I got to find the guy. Because someone online was really funny. Someone on Twitter. Hold on, let me see here. Oh, here we go. He deleted it though.
Stupid giant Twitter post.
Oh, this one goes out to Pendulum Throws. And I love it though, because he talks about how I was all this and I was crap and all this. And then a bunch of people called him the fuck out. And then he goes on his page and he talks about how these internet tough guys come after him and then they just block him. Well, you know, the forces of evil, known as myself and the rest of the constituents on Twitter from Online Big Blue, we didn't take lightly to that. So evidently he decided to block us. The guy that was calling people out for being a tough guy and then blocking him blocked me. And Hardy Ryder and Rolling with Bigfoot and some other people. And I love it because Hardy Ryder's response to him was, I can't read the blocks anymore because responding to him and says, you don't tug on Superman's cape, brother. Oh, I just love people. You just have to love people. And that's the thing. We're all about love now. What's his name again? His name is, I will get it for you again, is Pendulum Throws. I wonder if I can copy this. Because, you know, I'm a dick. So here we go. I'm a dick. I'm a douche. Listen, guys, I'm still a douche. I'm not going to lie to you. I'm still me. Here you go. He is the proud recipient of
Stupid giant Twitter posts.
I love it. I love it because I think if you go onto his page, can I still go on his page? And I love it because someone asked him if they had men's glasses where he bought his glasses. Some people are mean. He talks, and I love it. He's got one post that says, "This Twitter tough guy would love to meet him in person. Get your fucking lunch money stolen much in grammar school. You fucking cluck." And then he blocks me. That's what this guy said about this other guy. Resist this 24209. And then I love because then he blocks me. We're all kind of douches. I have to agree. We are all kind of douches. But let me see what we got going on in the chat here because I'd love to get everyone's opinion because that's what we do here. But I'm just gonna say I love this. Some will complain no matter what. And I think that's the point of the day. Some people will literally complain no matter what. I mean, the Giants finally have someone at the helm that is finally the adult in the room.
Are you a big man? Huh? I'm talking to you. What? You wake up in the morning, you say, I put on my big boy pants. Look, I'm wearing a belt. I got big boy pants on.
He's got John Harbaugh's got his big boy pants on. He's done this before. He's been successful with 2 separate quarterbacks. He's gone to a Super Bowl. He's been to multiple playoffs. His worst season was a 5-win season. And honestly, 5-win seasons in this for the Giants over the last 15 years, you'd fucking dance naked in the rain. We won 5 games. But no, people need something to complain about. But everything's, listen, I tell you when shit's going to fall apart. You can never say that I don't sit there and tell you, okay, that things are bad. You can never say I don't tell you that. And I'm telling you now, things are good. Things are, we're not going to do everything as awesome because I got a copyright strike. But things are good right now. And it's going to stay that way. And we're going to move forward in a good perspective. Afternoon, Tim says, Mike, can you smash that like button? Thank you, like. It's Mike Lee, Tim, the voice of reason. God help us all. You're right. Let's see here. What does Jake say? Glad you're staying, Tim. You're the only realistic YouTuber. We got to that one. BT says, love the show. Always enjoy your analysis. Can't forget your sense of humor, too. I think some people try to forget my sense of humor. Big Mike. What's up, Big Mike? Mr. Jackson says, does bringing Mrs. Downs is a mean to Jones' exit? No, because they fired Kevin Abrams. She is basically Dawn is basically taking over for Kevin Abrams. So firing Kevin and bringing her in does not do anything to Joe Schoen. Circumventing Joe's power by having Coach Harbaugh. I'm going to stop calling him John. I think I have to, because he's my brother, him and Jim, and John Jr., Jim Sr. I don't remember what our dad's name is, but it's something Harbaugh. And I forgot where I was fucking going with that, so we're not even going to go there anymore. Afternoon, everyone. How about them Knicks? Liked what they've done. Liked the trades. It's been good. Keyshawn the Bruce says, what's up? Mike Lee said, wouldn't brag about the Jets and Browns, though. I would brag about the Jets and Browns if I was a woman in professional football. I would, because of the fact that to me that is, they always say you're breaking the glass ceiling. And that's what she's done. And has, I think, the highest role within an NFL franchise right now. So I think that's where, I think that's perfect. I think that's great for her. Bring in Sean O'Hara for the offensive line coach. Why? And I'm not trying to be a butthead, J Sports Cars, but why would we want to bring in Sean O'Hara? I'm only asking for a friend. Because I don't think he has any experience as an offensive line coach, right? I like where the Giants are going with the coaching staff. I really do like where they're going and where they've been with the coaching staff. Because I think we're putting together, and now I'm hearing what Juan Castillo is now in play to be the Giants offensive line coach. I don't know a lot about Juan Castillo. I know he's been in the NFL forever, and I know they both worked in Philly. And they both didn't know their Andy Reid's guys. He actually, I'm looking at him. That actually wouldn't be a bad move. Mr. Castillo's been around. He's got years of experience. Offensive line coach from the Eagles from 1998 to 2010. Roll with the Ravens and Buffalo Bills from 17-18. With the Bears from 2020 to 2021. With the Commanders 2022 to 2023. And mentored numerous players to all-pro honors. And being a drill sergeant style known for developing talent. All right. See, right there, that's the key word for Juan Castillo that just nailed it for me. Known for developing talent. How often can we say we've ever had a coach or coaches that has been known for developing talent? Make sure you're hitting the like button, guys. She's going to say, we got that one. Chris says at the shop. Smash that like button. What's up, Jersey? What's up? What's up, Tim? Wanted to add, she also worked for Joe Schoen in Miami for 2 years. So I'm sure, no, she worked with Joe Schoen. She didn't work for Joe Schoen. So I'm sure she knows something about him, and I know she can fix the cap. Listen, I'm not disparaging Dawn, but a blind panda with a broken arm could be a better capologist than Kevin Abrams. That's all I'm saying. I'm not disparaging her because I know she's going to do a great job because she's going to come in here. And like I said, I hope she's coming in here with fresh eyes. I hope she's coming here looking at this mess and going, oh, dear Lord. And I love certain segment of Giant fans after they fired Kevin Abrams. Well, the Giants were in the best cap. The Giants are the best cap position they've been in years. And at that point in time, we had $6 billion in cap space. The bar is set so low, it can only get higher. Every time they get me out, they pull me right back in. Bad Tim. She still hasn't labeled the. Listen, I said this, and I've said this a million times before. I am going to label the soundboard. Since I'm staying another year in a nod to professionalism. What's more hot?
Yes, hon.
More hot pocket. Oh.
Yes, hon. More hot pockets. Right away, hon.
I can't find Mr. More Hot Pockets. Where'd he go? Where'd he go? But in a bid for professionalism, I am going to label the soundboard before the draft. Does everyone understand that after Sunday, we are 6 weeks away from free agency? After Sunday's game, when that final gun fires, we are 6 weeks away from free agency. There literally used to be an off season in football. Now it's like as soon as it reminds me of Santa's workshop. You seen I forgot which movie it was where the elves are. It's a minute after Christmas. It's a minute after Christmas it's a minute on Christmas Day. And all the elves are celebrating, they're excited, and they're happy. And then Santa comes in and says, we had a great year. Now we could start working towards next year. That's what the NFL reminds me of, Santa's fucking workshop. You have all this shit, and now we're going to go 6 weeks away from free agency, from the start of legally. From the start, because I'm trying to be more professional now. I'm going to start using my professional voice now because I really think the proper modulation is set for the properness here, and I'm gonna have to use my voice because I'm going after a WFAN radio gig because I figure someone has to be twice as stupid as Craig Cartman, and I know his name is not Cartman, but he acts and looks like Eric Cartman. So, but there's gonna be a lot of professionals. Oh, we got to that one. I also believe she's here to replace Joe Schoen next year. Y'all watch. It would be interesting if she became the first female general manager. She was up for an interview, or she interviewed for both the general manager job for the Jets and the Miami Dolphins. So we got to look at that. See, Dylan sees the vision. We all see the vision now. There is a vision. There is a plan to make this work. And people just have to be patient. Listen, I'm not running for the hills. I'm coming back. Don't call it a comeback. I've been here for years because you want to know why?
You can't keep me cooped up in here, okay? I am a peacock. You gotta let me fly.
We're going to fly, baby. We are going to fly well, maybe not next year. 5 to 7 wins is what I see. Now, all that can change if all of a sudden we see something special out of Jackson Dart. We knock it out of the park in free agency, and there's a lot to go over in free agency. We're going to do, I think, Saturday or Sunday. I haven't said, no, it's got to be Sunday. We're going to do a Super Bowl Sunday stream, and we're going to talk about rebuilding this entire roster and start with free agency. So there's going to be, it could, like I said, but I'm still saying 5, and I think 5 to 7 wins is a successful season. Because honestly, I think the Harbaugh effect is immediately going to give you 2 additional wins. So I say 5 to 7 wins. And I think 5 to 7 wins is a success. Dylan says, if they were up to fans, Antonio Pierce, DC Davis Webb is OC. I never understood the Antonio Pierce thing. He was never a defensive coordinator anywhere. He was a failed head coach. He was the linebacker coach with the Raiders. He was never a defensive coordinator. And he had all the shit that went on at Arizona State. He called plays for the Bears, led them to playoffs. That's proof Wiley's a moron. Yeah, I agree. Slider, I agree. Petro, what's going on? Right, Trubisky fell off the cliff. And evidently, Justin Fields wasn't good because he got worse when he left the Bears. I love that. Pat Shermer got fired. McAdoo got fired. Joe Judge got fired. Brian Dable got fired. So Matt Nagy got fired, and you're right. Everyone's upset that we hired him because he got fired. I love that. Mike Vrabel got fired. Dart's arm is average. Even the GOAT, Tom Coughlin. Yeah, we talk about Tom Coughlin getting fired. Bill Belichick got fired. You're right. There you go, Dark Simi. Yeah, we talked about that. Bill Belichick got fired as well. George Seifert got fired. Mike Shanahan got fired. The list goes on, but people were using that as the reason why they didn't want Matt Nagy. Giant fans are delusionals and don't think logically. Well, we're going to help them. We're going to help them. We're going to spread the wisdom now. We're going out there, as people always said, we're a cult. This is the time for the cult to rise. We are the fiery phoenix. We, as a collective, like the Borg, I don't know how many more references I can throw in there, are going to go out there and assimilate people and teach them to understand that the Giants are going the right way. And I got to, I should practice. Hold on, we got to move it down here. We got to make sure we have it down here. We got to start here. So I'm going to do for my auditioning for NFL films. Lombardi. All of a sudden, magic still lingers in the name. In the duels, in the ice, in the snow. That's going to be my NFL films tape there. Because this year is the year of professionalism. New advertisers. We got new advertisers coming on. New sponsors, not advertisers, sponsors. But this is the year of professionalism. And starting with the year of professionalism, knows what we got to talk about? TheMightyFanDuel.com. FanDuel.com, number one sports book in America. New customers, you get $200 in bonus bets off of your first $5 bet if you win. I'm going to say that. Bet $5, you get $200 in bonus bets if you win. That's for new customers only. FanDuel, of course, you want to explore the world of FanDuel Sports and Gaming. They got everything. I like the exclusive Huff and Puff game that they have on their casino app. Yes, I'm an old person. I do like slot machines sometimes. I like the pretty lights. New customers, new players, $500 in bonus wins. Plus, get up to $500 back in casino bonuses. Oh, dear Lord. What doesn't the FanDuel do? Let's jump over to the FanDuel Sportsbook because I think there's a game this weekend. I think there is. And for those that know, and I got an interesting parlay, but for those, it's still a 4.5 points. Seattle is still favored by 4.5 points. Sam Darnold is favored by 4.5 points in the Super Bowl. The fucking world is up on its axis. It's just freaking crazy. But they are still favored by 4.5 points. Like I said, I would take the Pats in the 4.5 points. For those that don't know, I have a 4-leg parlay that I'm working on. And I'm not going to lie. I am one leg away from winning $180,000. All that has to happen now is the Boston Celtics have to win the NBA Finals. The Boston Celtics cruise in the NBA Finals. I get a cool 180 grand. I don't want to brag, but I'm going to buy a new microphone when that happens. And I'm going to buy a P-Touch so I can label the soundboard. But let's take a look at it. Let's take a look at a nice parlay here on the FanDuel, the same game parlay, because we like those. Let's see. Drake May, 225 yards plus. Sam Darnold, 225 yards plus. Drake May, 2 touchdown passes. Sam Darnold, 2 touchdown passes. A $10 wager on that gets you only $49.26, but that is a pretty good parlay. What happens if I bet $150? $150 bet. I might take this bet. $150 bet gets you $738.94 on that 4-leg same game parlay on the mighty FanDuel. Ooh, I might like that. Plus, right now for new customers, 100% match deposit. Our deposit match up to $50 in bonus bets. New customers, double your deposit with a 100% deposit match up to $50 in bonus bets. So make sure you go on that and check that as well. The countdown is ticking down on that for the mightyfanduel.com right now. So deposit a minute of $5 and get up to 100%, get 100% in bonus bets up to 50. So that's FanDuel.com, the #1 sports book in America. We love the mighty FanDuel. Matt's going to be awesome. OC, I believe in the Giant players. Oh, I don't. I don't. No, I don't at all. I'm going to give a lot of Giant players the benefit of the doubt. And I think that's the best way to put it. The Giant players now get the benefit of the doubt only because of the fact that you aren't hitting the like button fast enough. 36. Let's get up to 45 likes before I leave. But they're not, I don't know. I don't give the Giant a no. No, sorry. Do a Herman Dunster. Nope. There are certain players that are going to get a little grace period here, but I don't trust the Giant players at all but now, like I said, we have to wait and see if they cultivate. Big Greg says GM with no authority. I'm sure Joe can hook up some. Joe Schoen is the king of neon. Evan says Harbaugh will turn this team around. Look at the moves we've already made, and he probably influenced many of them. I guarantee Joe Schoen was not the final decision maker. I don't have to guarantee because I already know it. Because the person that has the final say in all this is John Harbaugh, according to his contract. Joe Schoen is the highest paid administrative assistant in the world. The Dog Fiend says when families had no indoor plumbing, baby's bath, and I understood. I know I was being facetious. Sometimes you got to remember I'm a little facetious. I wouldn't resign Robinson if I was going, I wouldn't resign to Robinson. No Robinson. No. We've looked at free agencies before, and I think Wando Robinson is like the 20 or the 40th best free agent in the class, they're saying, because the ESPN ranked him. I think he's like 40th. And I've said this before. If you take a look, I'm not getting Alex Pierce. I already talked about Alex Pierce. Alex Pierce topped 1,000 yards with 47 receptions. Now, here's my problem with Alex Pierce. He's a straight lane speed guy. What happens when his target totals go up? Is he going to be able to elevate his game? Because I don't see him much besides his straight line speed. I don't see it, but we have to wait and see. But I would still take him over Wando Robinson. I would take Mike Evans at 33 over Wando Robinson. I've already said it before. I wanted Romeo Dobbs earlier this year. I wanted the Giants to trade for him and Quay Walker. I still want Quay Walker. I don't know what they're going to do with Quay. I think Quay Walker would. I've said this before. The linebacker Quay Walker. I think he would be the perfect fit for the New York Giants, and I love it because they're already talking in Green Bay about. I'm not talking Green Bay. They're already talking in Washington about going out and getting Quay Walker. And he's an unrestricted free agent because they didn't pick up his 5th-year option. But if you take a look at what he's done since he's been in the league, 121, 118, 102, 128 tackles. That's all Quay Walker. Quay Walker has 469 tackles in 3 years out of possible 58 games he's played in. He's played in 57. He is a tackling machine. He doesn't miss. We've talked about Quay Walker before. He flows to the football. He reminds me at times of Blake Martinez, who did not get lost in the sauce. He flowed. He had the feng shui and he flows to the ball carrier. They don't even have him in the top 50, Quay Walker. That's crazy. They had Nakobe Dean at 48 over Quay Walker. That's just fucking, there's someone smoking crack. Somebody's smoking crack. But I would get Walker. I would get Walker and I would pair him because Jannard Wilson, but like I said, this is the talent that he had in Tennessee. He ran a base 3-4. We can't run a base 3-4 with two undersized defensive ends and then probably take someone like Abdul Carter and put him in a linebacker position. We can't do that. We would get destroyed against the run. But if you literally take Quay Walker and you take Bobby Okereke and you put them in the middle, and I don't think Reese is going to be there, but you take Reese out of Ohio State, and then I have three hellacious linebackers with speed who can move. Now, Bobby Okereke is not the player he was 3 years ago. But that's a quick way to revamp your defense. So I would have to think about that. Oh, I'm not getting George Pickens. Someone brought him up earlier. Like I said, Isaiah Riley is who I want to get at the tight end position because of his familiarity with, of course, the John Harbaugh. I would be happy with Riley and Romeo Doubs, but I think Romeo Doubs is going to cost. Oh, Quay Walker's 13th on the list. Evidently, Tim know how to read. I used to love that because, you know, when you play football in college, people automatically assume you're not intelligent. So that used to be my big thing, because I would go to class and I would say something smart. And people would look at me and I'd be like, yes, Tim can read. So, of course, when they call you, when your nickname in college is Mongo, I guess there is a stereotype or say a legitimate question. If they had done paying, they're done paying. They're done paying, DJ. We're done. Cut Russell Wilson. We don't need to cut Russell Wilson. He's only on a 1-year deal. Do you mean shoot Russell Wilson out of a clown cannon? Because we can do that. We certainly can do that. Not a problem. Don't cut Bobby Okereke. Yeah, like I said, I'm not cutting Bobby Okereke. I'm keeping Bobby and I'm cutting Runyon. Looking at the cap, we must trade back to acquire more. No, this is not next year's NBA draft in 2026 is a historically deep draft. This next NBA draft. This is why so many teams are trying to acquire first round picks. It is a historic draft in reference to talent. Now, second round picks don't have the same value they used to because of the NIL deals. Because now kids that would potentially be second round picks can actually make more money by staying in college. So people are dumping those second rounders to try to get in the first round of this draft. But this year's NFL draft is not a very good draft. It is not a very deep draft. It's not a very talented draft. So I would not trade back unless I'm trading back into next year. But I don't want to do that because I need to cultivate some talent. I need to see what my staff can do. Slider says, I love Thomas, but I need 16 games. I agree. I do 16 games too. All right. Tried to be quiet today, but then I heard Tim do his Wimpy Wellington reference. What Wimpy? Oh, my Wimpy Wellington reference. I like Willie. I met Wellington Mara. I did like Wellington Mara. Let's see here. Let me get down here. Dylan says, my offseason will look something like this right now. Let Wandale walk. Look to trade Tibbs. You're not going to get much for Tibbs. Sign Linderbaum. Devin Lloyd was the other linebacker who I wanted. Because people are like, you wanted Malik Willis in that draft. No, I wanted Kayvon Thibodeau and Devin Lloyd. There's a fucking video out there. Pro Bowl, so important now. They play them on Tuesday nights. Right? There is no Pro Bowl anymore. That's what makes me laugh. There is no Pro Bowler. Damn, Tim. Did you sell your Bitcoin? Looking at, oh yeah, Joe. I tell you, Joe, I dumped my Bitcoin with a vengeance weeks ago. Weeks ago, I got out of every bit of Bitcoin I had. I had a feeling, now I might jump back in, but I had a feeling that the sky was going to fall. And when the job report came out and everything else has been coming out, I kind of ran for cover like a week and a half ago. Commodities. Listen, I'm not dumping my commodities because I just have commodities always bounce up. People take their profits and they leave and they come back. I'm not worried about that. But I dumped all the Bitcoin. I was literally like, Bitcoin, sell, like 2 weeks ago. A man can dream the impossible dream. Let Wandale walk and you allocate the money to Lloyd. I can do that. Love the old school commercials with the man and the daughter asks mom, do you a douche? Yeah, there are some classic ones. Tim, I don't think Jim Schwartz is happy even with the no, Jim Schwartz is not happy. First of all, anyone named Stoutland. I actually spoke to someone about this on Twitter. I was like, first of all, I don't know a lot about him. So I started doing some research, but I was like, I just like his name, that his name is Stoutland. I just like, what's his name? What's your law? That's almost like, what's your offensive line coach's name? Robert what? Robert blocks a lot. So I'd be down for Jeff. I would. The impossible dream. 6 weeks can't come. 6 weeks, man, Charlie. I'm telling you, Charlie, 6 fucking weeks is going to be here before you know it. And the Giants are going to literally, like I said, it's going to be like Santa's workshop. Super Bowl is going to end, and they're going to say, okay, time to get ready for next year. And they're going to be hitting the books. Guy down my block still has his tree up. That's all right. Nothing wrong with that. I had, when the kids were younger, we would sometimes have, we would call it the Valentine's Day tree. And we'd take off all the ornaments and we'd put Valentine's on it. Sometimes it just calls Dad is lazy and doesn't want to take it down. And sometimes it's like, it just looks so good in the living room. I don't have to show that hole over there that I have to patch if I take the tree down. I hope Dawn has heard the words, void years, don't use them. The big moo. I agree. And like I said, we have been so beaten down by Kevin Abrams. We really have. That anything that Dawn does, I'm going to just be like, it's great. It's great. It's awesome. Dawn could come into the building over in the Meadowlands. Well, it's always going to be the Meadowlands. He can go over there. I'm just watching Jose Alvarado. You know why I like Jose Alvarado? And I like this because, well, also Miles McBride is out. But Jose Alvarado is kind of a dick. If you ever watched him play with the Phillies, he's kind of a dick. And he kind of gets in people's faces. And I'm watching a fight that he had against the guy in the Suns. And this guy is like 7 feet tall, and Jose Alvarado is like, what, 6'2", 6'3"? And he reminds me of Dante DiVincenzo. So I like guys that are dicks, so it's okay. All right, what do we got here? Skate says, I'm a big fan of Nagy hired. Dart is perfect for his system. Yeah, Skate gets it. Charlie says, wow. Wow to what? What did I do now? If the Seahawks win, Darnold will become the first USC quarterback no quarterback from USC has never won a Super Bowl. Did not know that. I was gonna let's see. The Rookie of the Year is announced tonight. Does Dart win it? No. I think you're gonna go. I mean, this was actually offensively not really great. It wasn't, let's see, because was named the 2025 Pepsi Zero Rookie of the Year on February. Oh, so well, the NFL, the Pepsi Zero sugar-free NFL Rookie of the Year was Tyler Shuck. So considering this was announced 4 hours ago, Tyler Shuck won it. Tyler Shuck wins NFL Rookie of the Year after breakout season with the Saints. If you want to be honest about it, Tyler had a better season with a worse team, got more wins, and actually threw the ball downfield. I like Pierce. I just don't know what he's going to do when his production goes up. Stoutland, like I said, Charlie, I just like it. Like I said, what's your offensive line coach need? Johnny blocks a lot. If I can't have blocks a lot, I want Stoutland. I heard Patrick Queen might come to us. I don't think Patrick Queen can. I think Patrick Queen's contract would prohibit that, wouldn't it? Because he signed that deal in 24. Let me go look. Let me look at Patrick Queen. I would love Patrick Queen, but I think it. He signed the deal he signed the extension in 24. He got a $10 million salary, 17 million cap number, only a $3 million dead cap number, and he's an unrestricted free agent in 2026. If I'm the Steelers, I don't sign a $3 or $40 million contract, which includes $11 million signers and guaranteed annual salary. 2026 wins a base salary. I don't see the Steelers move. I don't see the Steelers doing us any favors. I really don't. Quay Walker, like I said, Quay Walker is the perfect Giant. Perfect. That's why I wanted to trade for him earlier in the season, before the season even started. Romeo Doubs and Quay Walker were both on the to trade list at a Green Bay. And evidently, we didn't even make a fucking call. I'm not a Dobbs fan, maybe because of its helmet. Yeah, the Guardian cap. I said it before. Call it the pussy cap. Listen, you play football, you're going to get brain damage anyways. I mean, it's just, and I've said this before. I played technically like almost 11 years because you got to go back to Pop Warner. And you kind of, it's one of those things that if you continuously run your head into the wall, 5 months a year for 11 years, yeah, something's going to happen. Something's coming loose. And I can tell you, something went loose a long time ago. I used to be normal. And when you put him on the hands team in Chicago, that first game in Chicago, and all you had to do on the hands team, Romeo Doubs, with your fucking Guardian cap is secure the football. Packers win. Not even going to get into it. Mike Lee says, if you could get either Raven center or backup tight end, who would you choose? I would pick the Linderbaum. Linderbaum is the guy I would take. I suppose the tier quarterbacks falling off the fucking draft this year. I wanted Devin Lloyd out of the draft as well. I did a whole video that if I picked for the Giants, because everyone says, you said you wanted to take Malik Willis. I always love people because I'm like, no, you didn't actually listen to the fucking videos I did. And I did a whole video it was like a castle. And I think it called like refortifying the Giants. And I had pictures of Lloyd and Kayvon Thibodeau at 5 and 7. Munchak is out there as well. Munchak would be a good one. I do think Jim Schwartz is a better coach. I do. Give me Lloyd or Quay. I'm happy. Lloyd is good at defending the pass. That's why I gave him the edge, but also the Giant. Here's the problem, though. We need someone that can stop the run. Because if you go to a base 3-4, and I don't know if, like I said, I don't know if that's what Denard Wilson's going to run. Dexter Lawrence is not overly stout. Dexter Lawrence is going to be your Jim Burt. Dexter Lawrence is going to be your Eric Howard. And I don't see that. And then my two edges are not Leonard Marshall or George Martin. They're going to be Brian Burns and Kayvon Thibodeau. Neither of them know how to set the edge against the run. And then you are going to either take Abdul Carter, make him a situational pass rusher, or are you going to try to play him at linebacker? And we already know he had a 45.7 missed tackle percentages last year as an off-the-ball linebacker at Penn State, which is one of the reasons why they moved him to the defensive line, besides the fact that Penn State lost a guy in the first and third round. No, so you can't do that. If you're going to play the 3-4, you're going to have to go. You're going to have some stout inside linebackers. You're going to have your Reasons and Carson, or your Reasons and Peppers. You're going to have some stout inside linebackers who can play a couple of yards off the line of scrimmage and attack and not allow people to get to the second level, because the defensive line and we're going to have the most money in the entire NFL allocated to our defensive line. And that's supposed to be our strength, and it's not really our strength. We didn't get a pass rush, and we can't stop the run. And I always love people, they're going to get better. Well, they can't get fucking worse. You need to move on from you should have moved on from Kayvon Thibodeau last year before the injury, like I wanted to. Because then you could have sold the teams, well, listen, he's under a fifth-year option. It's going to be like 12, 14 million, depending on how much he plays. You could potentially get a star defensive end going into his prime on a fifth-year deal. Then you could tag him. And he's going to be on your team. You could have sold that. I may not have gotten a first, but I probably could have got a second. Probably could have got a second and a sixth. Now, you're going to be Kayvon Thibodeau is going to be a guy coming off an injury on a rental. What, are you going to get a fourth or a fifth? But you should have moved on from Kayvon Thibodeau. You should get a linebacker. You should get 2 or 3 linebackers. You need to reinvent your safeties. And you hope, and this is my hope for Denard Wilson. You hope and I'll hurry, you try and I'll plan. We'll do what's necessary because even a miracle needs a hand. You hope Denard Wilson, who has a history of cultivating defensive backs throughout his entire career, you hope he turns around Paulson Adebo. You hope he's also a chiropractor and fixes Deonte Banks' neck, because the motherfucker can't turn his head. So I think it's got to be something related to this head. So hopefully he's a chiropractor. But I'm going to give him, you hope that he can teach Drew Phillips. It's great that you make all the tackles, but I hope you understand you need to prevent people from catching the ball so you don't have to worry about making the tackle. I have hope. And we always talk about hopium on this show. Zach Attack always brings up hopium. I have the hopium. I have 2 big canisters of hopium in my house right now. And I hope that Denard Wilson can turn around the fortunes of our secondary so we don't have to look at the corner position. I'm still letting Cordell Flott walk because I'm not going to pay a guy. I'm not going to overpay a guy for like 7 good games in the last 2 years. I'm not going to overpay for that. Dane Belton, we're going to shoot out of the clown cannon. I have to figure, like I said, we've taken the Isaac Yiadom $1.98 that we raised for his bus ticket years ago. Still have it. I'm going to go to Staples tomorrow, and I'm going to buy a protractor and send it to Tyler Newmans to teach him angles. Teach him how to take angles. You still need a safety, but literally, like I said, if you can solidify your linebacking core, a lot of your issues will be disguised. They're not going to go away. They're going to be disguised. Joe McKenna didn't have a cannon of an arm, but he was accurate and efficient, and he ran the West Coast offense. Stop the run. So happy with either. Any quarterback from USC in the bowl? Yeah. What's his name? Oh, Andrew. I'm sorry, I missed the super chat. All super chat to go to the Philadelphia Children's Hospital. Who will you bet on as our next offensive line coach? I told you, I like Juan. It's either Johnny Blocks a lot or Juan Castillo. I'm going Juan Castillo. I'm going to go Juan. I'm going Juan. Watch this. I'm going Juan gone. Sorry, I missed super chat, Andrew. All super chats go to the Philadelphia Children's Hospital. Sorry, I missed that. But yeah, I'm looking at it. I'm looking at it now, and I see the lineage, and I see the connections, and I see he's strongly in play to become New York Giants offensive line coach. Giants are just taking their time. That's like when we didn't fill the offensive coordinator position right now. People are fucking freaking out. I was like, chill. Let the man work. And when Todd Monken went to Cleveland, people were like, oh my God, the sky is falling. I was like, no. Just relax. And I love it because people reminded me the other day. It's like, well, Tim, you brought up Matt Nagy 2 weeks ago. I don't remember doing that, but I actually went back and found it. I did. I like when people bring up things that I say that make me sound smart. And then I have to go back and look how smart I was. And I was pretty smart on that take. But Matt Nagy's a good hire. Good professional NFL coach. So we're not going to worry about it. Give me Sean O'Hara. Has Sean O'Hara even ever been an offensive line coach? You didn't say Willis, but in the later rounds. I did say Willis. I would take Malik Willis in the third round. Someone needs to stop the run. What about Brian Burns? Yeah, ain't gonna happen. What would you do? That's J Sports Cards. Lloyd runs a 90 grade, and he's still very good in depth. No, I like Devin Lloyd. I'm down with it. James Williams says the fan base is really starting to irritate me. Hit the like button. James, the video you sent me was hilarious. And I love my brother, though. My brother there is, not jumping into the fray. he's just sitting here. And I thought for a minute you had an Uncrustable. It's like, is he going to use that as a weapon? I'm not going to talk about it. James, have you seen my merch shop? Yeah, James, have you gone to his merch shop? Dylan says, praising Lloyd and McFadden with O'Hara. No, McFadden. No. Nope. Why don't I like Micah McFadden? Do you want me to tell everyone why? And this is going to be my last take of the day because I actually have work to do. It's the professionalism. Why I do not like Micah McFadden. Good kid. Nice kid. Kind of kid that you want your daughter to date. Well, I don't know. He could be a serial killer. I don't know. I'm just saying that. No, he's not a serial killer. I'm just joking. But this is a guy that if you go through his advanced stats, he is not what we would refer to as a stout defender against the pass. And neither is Quay Walker or Bobby Okereke. So I couldn't do that. He has a career missed tackle percentage of 13. I'm going to say that again. His missed tackle percentage is 13. Now it's down from 17.9 that he had in 2023, but he still has a 13% missed tackle percentage. And he only plays, the most he's ever played is in like 72% of the snaps. And that's when he had his highest missed tackle percentage. That right there, again, I go to the fact of like Alex Pierce. What happens when Alex Pierce's production goes up? I mean, his targets go up. Does that production go down because everyone's going to understand we're just going to jam at the line and slow his ass down? So I can't do it. Slider says, if you want to get the quarterback, then you stop the run. Who said that? Oh, I did. And Carl Banks. Stop shoulder tag. Carl Banks said you have to earn the right to rush the passer. He said that when he was on here. Isn't Castillo going to be better than Carmen? I don't know. Who knows? Because I don't know what this offensive line is going to be next year. We're all going to find out. Nope on McFadden. I agree. Misses too many tackles and can't cover. Nope. Darnold thought he saw a ghost, and it was the Ghost Brothers. Hey-oh. Now watch this. See? Hold on. Damn it. See? Who told me to do the soundboard? Because that would have been so fucking great. I would have had that keyed up. I know where the rim shot button was, and then I would have went right to the Ghost Brothers.
Submitted for your approval. The Ghost Brothers. Nobody needs to be afraid.
Been seeing Sonny Styles all over the place. I've been seeing that too. He declared back in January. I probably have Sonny Styles ranked 4th in reference to linebackers. You got Reese. I love the kid Bailey out of Texas Tech, and what's his name? Allen out of Georgia. I got Sonny Styles ranked 4th. I'm not taking a 4th ranked linebacker 5th overall. Well, Joe Schoen might. Joe Schoen could. I know Joe Schoen. You know who I'd love to get? I don't even. I would love to get Josiah Trotter out of Missouri. Josiah Trotter, of course, is Jermaine Trotter's son. Jermaine Trotter is also the guy that nearly destroyed Eli Manning. that nearly buried Eli Manning. I would love that. If he is anywhere near his father, I would love his toughness. And he's a guy, and Josiah Trotter, that, and again, I'm talking third, fourth round. He can cover. He's a cover guy. Is he going to be a linebacker? Yeah. Because you're looking at a guy that is to me, he's probably an in the box linebacker in Josiah Trotter. He's 6'2", he's college 6'2", 235. So yeah, I would go Trotter. I would go late in the draft Trotter, not late in the draft. I probably have him like the 9th or the 10th linebacker right now. But I would take him in the 3rd. If I trade back up into the 2nd, I would take him. Trotter was a good liner, very underrated. All right, guys. Opinion? No. That's my opinion. No. All right, guys. I'm gonna head out. It is time to start dinner. I got some stuff I got to do. Live streams. We're gonna have the Super Bowl live stream on Sunday with a special guest. We're also gonna do a giveaway on Sunday, so make sure you stay tuned for that. Want to give a big shout out, of course, to the mighty FanDuel. That's FanDuel.com, that one sportsbook in America. Go right now to FanDuel. New customers bet $5, get $200 in bonus bets if you win. Don't forget, take the Patriots and the 4.5. Don't forget, we're gonna get there, guys. We're gonna get there. Just everyone relax. Have yourself a good evening. Have yourself a good night. And you know what? Everything's going to be good in Giant Land for the next 5 years. Appreciate it, everyone. And I'm out.